Okay, so Rob Page has been sacked as Wales manager. There were a lot of Welsh fans following the World Cup in Qatar who said that's where the relationship between Rob Page and the Welsh national side should have ended and they should have moved on and got some fresh ideas in the dugout. Instead, even before the Qatar World Cup, I do believe the Welsh FA gave Rob Page an extension. He hasn't seen out the full length of that contract extension as Wales manager. He has been sacked this morning. So let's have a quick look at 2023 and 2024. Most of the matches they have played have been qualifiers. There's been a couple of friendlies in there, but these are mostly competitive matches. There are some defeats in here. The last defeat is quite troubling, but Slovakia aren't a bad side. But there were some bad defeats to Armenia and Turkey in there as well, which did slightly derail their qualifying campaign and meant they were chasing other sides that did qualify. They had to go via the playoffs and missed out on penalties. So they started their qualification campaign in 2023 for this year's Euros against Croatia with a solid draw, 1-1. Not bad. Croatia ultimately did qualify for the tournament. They beat Latvia 1-0. Now Latvia, pretty average side really, and that is a solid win. So, 4 points out of 6 to start the qualification campaign. That is not a bad start. It's the games against Armenia and Turkey in 2023, the first meetings in the qualification stage, that are worrying. A 4-2 defeat to Armenia, not a good side by the way. Armenia are nowhere close to international qualification for a major tournament. And a 2-0 loss to Turkey. Now that Turkey side is pretty decent, let's be honest. Pretty decent side. They've played really well in their opening game at the Euros. There's no harm in losing to Turkey, there's no shame in that. But to lose to Armenia 4-2... after a positive start to the qualification campaign is troubling. They then followed that up with a friendly draw, a 0-0 against South Korea. But then they returned to winning ways by beating Latvia 2-0. So they've done them home and away without conceding a goal against Latvia. Some positive bounce-back results, but those two heavy defeats to Turkey and Armenia have unfortunately put them behind Turkey and Croatia in regards to qualification for the Euros. The 4-0 win against Gibraltar, as I say, friendly. There's going to be a bit of a swing in fortunes when they play Gibraltar the next time in a friendly. Bit of an embarrassing draw coming up. They do beat Croatia 2-1. They've drawn one against Croatia, win one against Croatia. Real positive signs going forward that, hey, they might actually pull off a comeback, make the Euros. And that's a solid win. Croatia are a solid side. They failed to really hit their stride at this Euros, but that is a really good win. They get a draw against Armenia, a side who put 4 past them earlier on in the qualification campaign. Solid draw, that's not bad. And Turkey a 1-1 draw to finish off the group stage of qualifying. So they haven't quite made it as automatically into the Euros. They have to go via the playoffs. But towards the end of their qualifying campaign, they showed some fight, considering early on some wobbles with those 2 bad defeats against Armenia and Turkey. They go into the playoff rounds of qualification. They beat Finland convincingly 4-1. Finland had made it to the last tournament. Finland, solid, not outstanding side, but a solid side. They were at the last Euros, beat them 4-1. So that's a good positive sign that they beat a side that had qualified for the previous tournament comfortably. So there is some fight in this Welsh side. It's the game against Poland where it's a 0-0 draw, goes to penalties. They obviously lose on penalties, and they miss out on qualification in heartbreaking fashion. I wouldn't say that's sackable on Rob Page, really, considering the players he's got to work with, the quality that's available to him. Gareth Bale's now retired, Joe Allen's gone, and Aaron Ramsey is starting to, he's a veteran player now. He can't carry the team on his own. There are some young, exciting Welsh talents that do play in the English league system, obviously. So there are some green shoots there. But they have lost some real key players who were instrumental in getting them to the World Cup, getting them to the previous Euros. So he has got a lesser squad and a lesser quality group of players to work with. But I would say they did start to turn around their qualifying campaign with that win against Croatia. They didn't do bad. They didn't lose in an hour and 20 minutes against Poland. So it had to go to penalties. So they did show some fight. They just narrowly missed out on qualification. However, it's the last 2 games where I think the Welsh FA have acted and looked at how they responded to missing out on the Euros. That 0-0 against Gibraltar in a friendly, bit embarrassing. Bit embarrassing is an understatement, considering they put 4 past them earlier in 2023, comfortably in a friendly 0-0 draw. That's not good. To then follow that up with a 4-0 thrashing by Slovakia, who have made it to the Euros. Slovakia obviously wanting to have a warm-up, get themselves ready for the Euros. Put 4 past them easily. And I think it's those last 2 results that have done for Rob Page. There were some concerns when they lost to Armenia and Turkey that, hey, he should go then. There were some Welsh fans saying it's time to move on from Rob Page after the World Cup. But the Welsh FA gave him this extension. He hasn't seen out that contract extension. I don't know who they put in to replace Rob Page. I'm not an expert on Welsh coaches, whether they decide to go with a foreign coach or if they decide to stay with a Welshman to take the team forward. But hey, he's out of work. There is an availability at international level. It'll be interesting to see if there's a manager available who could come along and say, put their hand up and say, I will be willing to work with these young players, because there are some young, exciting players who are early on in their professional careers available to Wales. It'd be interesting to see who replaces him and what Rob Page does going forward. He has coached in club management, although not at the highest level. He has coached in the English League system before. It'll be interesting to see if he gets another job. It will also be interesting to see who his permanent replacement is going to be as they go into World Cup qualification. I do feel a bit of sympathy for him, but there were some bad results in there. Although if you look at his record since the World Cup, they've only lost the 3 games in 90 minutes. 4 in total if you count the shootout loss against Poland. But it's the manner of those defeats, and when they lose badly, and there's too many draws in there. I mean, they had Croatia's number though. Croatia looked, ordinary against them, but there's too many draws in there, and when they lose badly, and they ship goals when they lose. But there we go. Rob Page has been sacked as Wales manager. Place your thoughts in the comment section below. I wasn't expecting this kind of managerial news whilst the Euros was on. Potentially, that's probably why Wales have done it, to soften the media blow a little bit. Potentially, it can just go under the radar, and they can, whilst all the media circus is watching the Euros and focusing on the Euros and what's happening with England and some other countries who've had disappointing Euros so far, maybe they can get a new guy in under the radar, hush hush, and just go about their business. But we'll see. Place your thoughts in the comment section below. But for me for now, thank you very much for watching. I'll have some more content for you guys very, very soon.